everybody, welcome to Thumb on the Pulse. This is the next and newest episode of our bi-weekly, soon-to-be weekly news show where we talk about the news that gets our heart racing every other week, and again, soon-to-be every week, and then we edit it up, cut it up, throw it up on YouTube so you guys can consume it that way as well whenever you'd like, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let's get going with the news, shall we? Okay, thanks again for being here, everybody, for Thumb on the Pulse. Our first story today is going to be a little bit off the norm. We normally talk about video game consoles at the beginning, but we're going to talk about the platform that we all know and love, and that is Twitch. Twitch has recently removed a popular emote from rotation due to the fact that the origination of the emote came from somebody with less than savory views in the public and political sphere. Once they removed that popular emote known as the PogChamp emote, a lot of controversy came from it, not only because of the gentleman whose face it was originally, but also in the days after. Twitch's plan for this was to replace the PogChamp emote with other Twitch streamers making a very similar face and hoping to have similar reactions to that emote. First and foremost, the replacement of the PogChamp with other PogChamps came with a lot of criticism from a lot of different streamers and a lot of different viewers. Not only that, but when they did switch over the face of the PogChamp to a new streamer, that new streamer was met with tons of criticism, anything from just casual belittlement through their chat, bullying through chat, to actual threats on their lives, things like threats to dox them and swat them. It got really, really crazy really, really quick. You'd never realize that people would be so emotionally attached to an emote. But again, this came with a lot of criticism from streamers because this is something that Twitch should have foreseen, the fact that they're taking a staple of their platform and changing it drastically and abruptly. This was definitely something that Twitch should have kept in mind, had in mind, and maybe prepared for in the vein of maybe having some moderators available from actual twitch.com employment and putting them in these new streamers' chats. It's only a 24-hour thing, so it wouldn't be difficult to put a couple employees in the PogChamp of the day's chat while they're live and moderate harassment. A lot of other streamers have been experiencing minor trolling, but overall hasn't necessarily been the most positive experience for those involved or those utilizing the emote, when clearly the intention from Twitch was to give more streamers more exposure. Another thing that's been on streamers' minds in regards to the PogChamp emote is that this isn't a small streamer type opportunity. It's come to fruition in the last few days that this is really just partnered streamers that are getting the opportunity to become the PogChamp emote. So again, with more information and more news coming out in the future, we'll give a little bit more information on this story as it progresses. Twitch just yet again swung and missed on an opportunity to promote streamers and change a little bit of the atmosphere. The next news story we're going to be talking about is one of my favorite stories, and that's always going to be talking about Game Pass. Game Pass continues to step up their game day after day after day. We've reported on Microsoft's purchase of Bethesda. We've reported on Microsoft's purchase in partnership with Ubisoft. We've reported on Game Pass's partnership with EA. Now, even though this promise was made back in 2019, Xbox Game Pass is now fulfilling and upholding their promise to get as many Final Fantasy titles involved with Game Pass as possible. Again, like I mentioned, back in 2019, they had promised at least 10 Final Fantasy titles to be included with Xbox Game Pass. To date, there are only about 4 or 5 that I know of. As of 2020, it was announced that at least by 2021, they are planning on putting out all of the 10 titles available for Xbox Game Pass that they promise. Xbox is currently housing the titles Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8 Remastered, and Final Fantasy 9. In 2021, and according to Microsoft and beyond, so maybe not all of them in 2021, they should be bringing releases of Final Fantasy X, the HD remastered version, Final Fantasy X-2 remastered, and Final Fantasy XI, Final Fantasy XIII, Final Fantasy XIII-2, and then Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII as well. So there's going to be a lot more Final Fantasy titles available on Game Pass. I'm stoked because I want to play some of those online and on stream for you guys, so get ready for a Final Fantasy fest through Xbox. Who would have thought Back when I first started playing Final Fantasy games, they were exclusive to Sony, so who would have thought I'd be playing all of them on an Xbox? Now, this is where we move a little bit out of the news portion and more into just game updates. We're going to be just massive, like, rapid firing game update information at you over the next like 4 to 5 minutes. So be prepared. We're going to talk about a lot. Resident Evil did announce their 8th title, and that's Resident Evil The Village. That was announced during the Xbox showcase that we got to watch together previously online. The new trailer for Resident Evil Village is actually premiering like as we speak. January 21st is the day that Capcom decided to do their Resident Evil showcase. So there's going to be a lot of Resident Evil news coming out with this Resident Evil showcase, but something that's kind of come to fruition with the Resident Evil community and the first trailer that came out is a weird obsession with this tall vampire woman that seems to be attracting the eye of many, many people with the game. Now, I haven't seen the new trailer yet because, again, it is literally happening as we speak, but people are hoping that there's more information about this tall lady, this tall vampire lady, and that hopefully she'll stomp around and kind of chase us around like Nemesis did. So hopefully we'll get more information like that. Just announced from that, I'm imagining they are doing a Resident Evil crossover with Division 2 here in a couple weeks. Very cool information to put in here because we're actually got a little bit of news coming out here in a couple minutes in regards to Division, or the Division engine, rather. Viewers can also expect, like I said, much more news about Resident Evil franchise. This is deemed the Resident Evil Showcase and is premiering right this moment, or beforehand if you're watching this on YouTube. Next bit of news on games is a game called Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares 2 was supposed to come out last year, but it has officially been announced that on February 11th, we'll be getting that release of Little Nightmares 2 on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and I'm sure all of the other, the next-gen consoles, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, those will have like free next-gen upgrades like a lot of like the sports titles had and stuff like that. The storyline is set after Six's escape from the Maw. Spoiler alerts from the first one. The character lives, so we get to play another one. Little Nightmares 2 does get a new protagonist. It's a teammate by the name of Mono. It's a boy with a brown paper bag over his head. Together, the two must work as a team in order to survive the lands outside of the Maw, which are occupied by a whole new cast of monstrous characters and residents. Pretty excited to try to track down the first title and play this one on stream. I've kind of been in the vein of games like this one and like Inside and kind of more independent type horror games. I'm not sure exactly. The platformy type games have been super, super appealing to me, especially the ones with like weird themes and weird ideas behind them. So very excited to play the first Little Nightmares, and then we'll definitely tell you what we think about that one as we move into Little Nightmares 2. Moving away from Nightmares, Super Mario 3D Worlds plus Bowser's Fury is going to be released the day after, not February 11th, but February 12th. It is coming to Switch with a whole new set of possibilities with the games. You're also getting Bowser's Fury incorporated with it. A lot more co-op opportunities and more gameplay that's been announced recently. Also, kind of in conjunction with that, they've decided to put out a new Nintendo Switch console as well. This one's going to have the traditional Mario red and blue theme to it, where the console's completely red. What do you even call it? It's the little holster for your Joy-Cons. That's blue. Your Joy-Cons are red, so it adds a little blue-red combination. It's met mixed reviews on how it looks. I'm honestly neither here nor there. I don't need another Switch. So if you guys need another Switch though, and you want a Mario themed one, check that out. Not only the Super Mario 3D Worlds with Bowser's Fury and the new color themed console coming out, we're going to get 2 new amiibo figures. A new Cat Mario and a new Cat Peach amiibo will be coming for you to collect soon. A game that I'm very much looking forward to, and again, we may have to play the first one sometime, either off-stream or on-stream. Psychonauts is coming out finally with their second one. We announced this game a long time ago, especially because of its affiliation with Jack Black and the developer Double Fine. Double Fine helped develop Jack Black's game Brutal Legend. If you guys want to check out any of Brutal Legend footage, our friend Nex Incendiary is posting a playthrough on his YouTube channel, so feel free to check him out over there. The writer of Psychonauts 2 was, I think he put this out on Twitter, so he was quoted saying that last week he wrote his final line of dialogue for Psychonauts 2. He never remembers to celebrate little things like this because there's always more work to do, but he wanted to say, hey, that's cool, I finished it on Twitter. So that he's finished that. Not only that, because it's been delayed so long, it was supposed to be released in 2019, and then again it was supposed to be released in 2020 or last year. Double Fine is pretty confident that 2021 is going to be the year that we will get Psychonauts out the door, in the stores, and in people's hands. Final touches are reportedly in the works right now, including the credits and the cutscenes, all of the post-game epilogue, all of the dialogue during the game. All of that stuff is being finalized and wrapped up right now. So hopefully we'll be seeing a sweet game like Psychonauts 2 coming out here in the future. Also, if I remember correctly, Jack Black is one of the main characters in it. So let's keep an eye out for that as well, shall we? Another update in the Nintendo sphere. We're getting a Pokemon Snap game. This new Pokemon Snap is supposed to be released on April 30th. This is a sequel to the 1999 Nintendo 64 classic that tasked you with taking pictures of Pokemon. As far as I understand, that's the name of the game. Players take control of the Pokemon photographer who traverses through Lental, which is the region full of beautiful scenery and wonderful Pokemon. You get to collect pictures to complete your Pokedex. 2021 is a big year for Pokemon because this is the series and the franchise's 25th anniversary. Just recently, the Pokemon Company International announced that it was launching a series of musical events. So there's going to be a lot of Pokemon stuff going on with big music names and big talent from the music industry. The first one they announced was a collaboration with Katy Perry. They didn't exactly announce what that collaboration is, whether it might just be like a celebration for Pokemon starring Katy Perry or some sort of integration into the game or maybe something along those lines. I know she is a big on designer, so maybe she'll design some stuff for the characters. But yeah, we got a lot to look forward to in regards to Pokemon this year because it is the 25th anniversary. So keep your ears and eyes open. We'll try to report as heavily on that as we can on Thumb on the Pulse. This was a fun game that was announced to me from my researcher we all know and love, Eternalfoxfire. I hadn't heard of the game until she brought it to me, but there is going to be early access to this game on February 2nd. It was shown at the PC Gaming Show. It's called Valheim. This is a survival type game that's set with Norse mythology. It's releasing for Steam, so we'll get that early access, like I said, on February 2nd. But the game actually begins in the disarmingly peaceful center of Valheim, or Valheim. I'm imagining it's Valheim. You'll eventually push out through the surrounding forests and mountains and procedurally... Let's try this again. Eventually, you'll push out and explore the surrounding forests and the surrounding mountains. This is going to be a procedurally generated purgatory, and you'll be searching for resources, raw materials, all sorts of things to try to survive by building weapons and armor. You're going to build strongholds and boats, all of the Viking things that you could ever imagine. You get to build, create, and utilize to survive Norse mythology, basically. So that's kind of something I'm excited for. Not a huge survival game fan personally, but there are a couple out there that I enjoy. And if I'm being super honest, you throw Norse mythology into just about anything, and I'm pretty intrigued. So we'll be definitely interested to see how this one goes. You can play by yourself or in co-op groups of up to 10 people with this game. You'll be doing battle in punishing dodge and block style combat, as you quest to reclaim the realm from the enemies of Odin. If that doesn't sound kick-ass, I don't know what does. For fans of the Monster Hunter series, we do have some news on Monster Hunter Rise. The Monster Hunter Rise demo is now available. It's featuring 4 different quests from the game, 2 training missions that teach players the basic controls of the game and the basic actions, as well as 2 proper hunts. The proper hunts can be played solo or together with a teammate. However, you can only play these hunts up to 30 times, so make sure you're having a lot of fun while you get a chance to, because you only get 30 opportunities. Nintendo is offering a free Nintendo subscription online, as well as the demo for that full 7 days, so if you're not currently paying for your online service with Nintendo, you can grab this Monster Hunter Rise demo and get 7 free days to play other Nintendo games online, so that's pretty neat too. Pushing ahead towards the games that we saw revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase that we watched together, that many of these games were featured on GhostWire Tokyo. It's made by the creators of The Evil Within and The Evil Within 2, Tango Gameworks, and Shinji Mikami. Sony actually is the company that released the trailer for GhostWire, which is odd because Bethesda is the parent company that owns Tango Gameworks, and as we all know, Microsoft owns Bethesda. Also bizarre about the fact that Microsoft owns Bethesda and yet Sony released the information on this is that we found out news that GhostWire was announced originally to be a PS5 console exclusive and have a PC release as well, but was not intending on releasing to Microsoft consoles at all. And in fact, when Microsoft purchased Bethesda, they also stated that they'd be honoring that agreement since it was made pre-purchase. It's an odd situation because, again, they're releasing the PC, which obviously means that it'll be available on Windows, which is a Microsoft product, so it'll be available for Microsoft operating systems. And Microsoft is releasing the game on a competitor console, PS5, and exclusively, no less, but not on its home console. My prediction with this game, we'll see this game on PS5 exclusively and PCs for about a year and a half, I'd imagine, or however that exclusivity contract extended to, and then we'll see some sort of updated DLC included type GhostWire Tokyo be released when it's available for Xbox. And another prediction, it'll be available on Game Pass. How much you want to bet? Because this was a PS5 exclusive and was obligated to be a PS5 exclusive when it was released, I bet money that this will be a Game Pass opportunity in the future. What do you think? There is a new game coming out. It's a bizarre game coming out. It's called Space Warlord, Organ Trading Simulator. I mean, I know it looks like the graphic I put up there I made up, but I didn't make this game up, I promise. If you're looking for that business simulating type game that has a unique twist to it and something that you may not have been expecting, this might be the game for you. You're just playing this game to corner the market of organ trading by buying and selling organs in outer space. If it looks like there's a demand for just about everything from adrenal glands to small intestines to human bladders, well, you're in the right business, folks. You have to store these organs. If you store the organs with different types of organs, you might get vampiric organs that'll eat the other organs. The organs can drain or boost each other. What else? This game is just so bizarre and so out of left field that I really am not sure how to report on it. You'll also have to deal with competing traders and random events, as well as organ haulers unions and union strikes and things like that. So this seems to be a very, like, all the business side to this business simulator sounds very, very accurate and real world style, but it's the most ridiculous idea in the fact that you're actually intergalactically trading illegal organs. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know what else to say about this organ trading game. I've dubbed it Space Organs, the musical. Another really pretty game that's coming out is a game called Kena, Bridge of Spirits, the first half of 2021. We're hoping for March or June. This is another action platformer. You play as the title character Kena, who helps guide spirits into the spirit world. You're relying on the help of your cute black creature friends called the Rot. This game is scheduled to launch on PS4, PS5, and the PC. It looks adorable. The voice acting in it sounds immaculate, and it's very, very ethereal. It's very spiritual, and you can feel the artwork in it and the spirit behind the game. You can feel it just in the trailer. So another one of these new style platforms that I'm super excited to play. Moving on to updates that I'm excited about. I think Bonnie might be excited about. We are going to talk about Apex Season 8. I'm still predicting that Apex Season 8 will come out around February 3rd. I'm going to say in between the 2nd and the 5th. That's my prediction. We did get news about the new legend that will be in this Season 8 update. Season 8 will be dubbed Mayhem, and our new legend is Fused. He's an Aussie hothead with a giant bomber gun. Season 8 is also going to introduce a new lever action rifle, the 3030 repeater, and is once again set to remix the game's first map, an obliterated map, Kings Canyon. So new updates to Kings Canyon. We're hoping to see some updates to the newest map that they added with Season 7, plus maybe the integration of the vehicles in that new map into some of the old maps. Also, we're getting a new addition to Mirage's storyline. So a few little things that they teased for Season 8 that I'm super excited about. I really want to get more into Apex because this has so far been my favorite Battle Royale shooter. Dead by Daylight also has some new news, not only a revamped HUD, which also shows the character portraits as well as a hook counter next to your players' names. The killer can also see hook progress, as well as the whole user interface is scalable now. Matchmaking ratings will return in the near future after having been tested in 2020, and the skill-based matchmaking system will also be tested to try to figure out how they can fix some of the issues that a lot of the regular players have been complaining about with all the matchmaking dynamics that they've been trying to mess with. Once the system's been finalized, ranks will no longer be used for matchmaking and will instead become part of a new reward system. So each month, everyone will be given blood points based on the highest rank that they've achieved during that time frame, and then they'll be reset back to rank 20. They're also going to be moving more towards realistic graphics in the realistic direction. The graphic update for the Gideon Meat Plant and the Crotus Pren Asylum, and changes for the Clown, including a throwable antidote that releases speed-boosting gas, plus others. So if you're big into Dead by Daylight, it sounds like you're getting a lot of new stuff. I hope you're excited for it. I really wish I was more into that game because it seems like a lot of fun. I just know a lot of people take it super seriously, so it's hard for me to have fun when I don't know what I'm doing and everybody else is trying to win. More fun news. Things seem to be getting bought. Purchases keep seeming to happen in the game industry, including Ubisoft partnering with Star Wars. What a weird segue that was. Ubisoft is kind of taking over a little bit in this newly announced open world Star Wars game that a lot of us have heard about already, as opposed to EA making the game, who's been specifically responsible for a lot of the Star Wars franchise for a long time. Ubisoft is getting the opportunity to take a crack at the Star Wars franchise. An open world game using the Snowdrop engine that we kind of had mentioned previously a little bit. The Snowdrop engine is the same engine that's used in the Tom Clancy titles The Division, like The Division 1 and The Division 2. The idea with Ubisoft taking over Star Wars is to create an original Star Wars adventure that's completely different from anything that's been done before. A lot of video games say that when they take on big franchises like this, so we'll see how well this goes. Not many other details were revealed about the game other than the open worldness of it all and the companies that were involved in making it. Also, the last little teaser we got about the game is that it is supposed to have a significant, substantial playtime. So I'm hoping we get not only in a substantial playtime for that first arc, for a first storyline, but also significant replayability, and I'm hoping that's what they're referring to with a substantial playtime. So if you're, again, a franchise fan of Star Wars, which I am, I hope you're looking forward to it. We will be playing the Jedi Fallen Order on stream soon, so I hope you guys get to catch that. Maybe we'll finish it before this new one comes out. Another teaser we got recently with the Video Game Awards, Mass Effect is announcing that they're releasing the Legendary Edition of their previous titles, and that's going to be coming out in March. It's going to be a full remake of the Mass Effect games that'll include all single-player based content as well as all the DLC content from the Mass Effect trilogy, plus promo weapons, armors, and packs that have all been remastered and optimized for 4K Ultra HD. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but to me it's obvious, this is an incredible opportunity to market for the new game that's supposed to be coming out within the next couple years. Mass Effect 4, I think, or are we calling it Mass Effect 5? The newest Mass Effect that will be released and was teased previously in other game shows has created a lot of buzz in the game industry, and just the fact that they're releasing this remastered edition only confirms the fact that they're intending on extending the franchise and giving us something that we've all been waiting for a long time. When I say we all, unfortunately that doesn't include me because I never really gave Mass Effect its justified opportunity to win my heart, but I do know so many people that are a fan of this franchise, so maybe in March when this new remastered edition or Legendary Edition comes out, we'll be giving Mass Effect a try as well. Super excited to try new games. One of my favorite parts about doing the news is discovering new games to try, even new games for me to try that have been around forever, like Mass Effect. Now, this last bit of news that we have right here is probably the newsiest bit of news. So if you were looking for more game information, I'm sorry, we're not talking too much about that, but we are talking about an agency, if you will, called the Materia Collective. Now, the Materia Collective is basically an agency that helps musicians find work in the video game industry. Within the last week or two, a musician named 2Mello claimed on a Twitter post that he hadn't received any payment for a work he did on a game called Celeste. He had done work on the main soundtrack for Celeste, as well as contributed tracks to the B-side, which was the soundtrack that was compiled and released as an album to purchase separately from the game. 2Mello claims that he hasn't received payment for his work on the game or the B-side for at least I think he claimed a year to a year and a half. Also, he mentioned that, to his knowledge, at least 3 other musicians from that album and that game still had yet to be compensated. The game's original soundtrack was sold separately from the game for $5, so theoretically, even if it didn't do very well in sales, there should still be some sort of compensation owed to these artists. Now, since 2Mello has publicly come across as having not been compensated by this company specifically, not only that, but he has also dictated his multiple attempts at contacting the company outside of social media on a personal level to try to take care of this grievance. He's also mentioned that multiple artists have been affected by this. Well, those multiple artists, now they're coming forward in mentioning the fact that they have also tried to reach out individually to this company in regards to their compensation, specifically during the year of 2020, when all of us are suffering from the pandemic and all of us need the compensation that we are owed and deserved. These artists have now come forward saying that they haven't received compensation, not just for games like Celeste, which again, probably most of us that are talking right now or listening right now haven't heard of that game, but also for games like Destiny 2 and Mortal Kombat 11. There have been artists that have been directly involved with music for both of these games that said it has been 1 to 2, if not 2.5 years, going all the way back to 2019, where some of these people are expecting payment. Now, having researched this story over the last few days and kind of keeping in touch with everybody's social medias that are involved with the story, from the artists to the company themselves, the company has released a Twitter statement saying that all delayed payments will be made by mid-February to all people that are owed. They're apologizing profusely. They're working on fixing the issues within the company that caused this to happen in the first place. The downside is that a lot of these artists don't buy it. It's hard to trust a company that has led you astray for so long just because they've now been publicly shamed for it. The reason that all of these artists are a little hesitant to expect compensation for these or payment for this work is because they've been reaching out for the last year, 2 years, nearly 3 years to try to get this compensation. And some were flat out ignored, let alone told that they would get any compensation. So the fact that it took so much work and public shaming in order for this company to say that they were going to do right by their artists is a little disheartening and in all honesty, pretty difficult to trust. So I'm really excited to keep in touch with this story and keep our thumb on the pulse with this one to see how much farther down the line this is going to go and to see if they really do make good on their promises. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys for joining me for the live taping. Thank you guys for joining me for Thumb on the Pulse this week. And thank you for joining me on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified if you hit that bell when new news stories come out, when new videos that we post on YouTube come out. As always, I appreciate everybody's support and appreciate you guys supporting me and keeping my thumb on the pulse so I can report these news stories to you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I love you very much, you beautiful beans. We'll talk to you next time. Hopefully I said some goofy lines in the middle so we can put it at the end. I'm hoping you spelled that right, because if it's not Crotus Pren and it's Cotus Pen, but I said that.